Glen Matlock, welcome to Noise11.com. It's a pleasure to talk to you. This is my first time chatting with you, and also looking forward to seeing you in Australia very, very soon. Not as a Sex Pistol, but as a Blondie.
As a Blondie, yeah. And I got like the right colour hair for it as well. Look.
Did you have to go and get the hair done that colour when you heard that you had the job?
No, I managed to stop doing it the other colour, and now it's natural. So
I hear you've been recording with Blondie. Where are you up to in the process with that?
Well, I mean, over the past year or maybe a little bit more, I was in New York and put some bass down to a whole bunch of new songs they got, which sounded really good. But we've been touring. There's mixing going on, there's tweaking going on. I'm not really in the driving seat on that, but hopefully it'll be out later this year. So we'll see. But it sounded good, you know. So.
Are you road testing any of the new material? Will we hear any of that when you come down for the Pandemonium tour in April?
Don't know yet. I'll find out when I get there. You know, I'm not the boss, so I can make suggestions, and I don't necessarily always get listened to. But I think the thing when you do shows like we're doing, you have to kind of just hit people with the hits, really. And Blondie have got quite a few of those, you know. So it's hard to know which ones to leave out. Really.
Well, when you started doing the shows and, you know, one way or another, hanging on the telephone, call me, that's just an example of the first 3 songs that have been played in the shows.
Yeah.
I mean, that's more hits than a lot of bands have in total.
Anyway,
and Blondie can write them off in the first 3.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff to play, you know. Yeah. And I've sort of known of and been friendly with, particularly Clam with Blondie since they came out, really, since they first arrived in London. Yeah, and in fact, I've got another little thing coming up called the Lust for Life tour, and me and Clam are doing it, which starts in a week's time over here. And Clam arrived from the States yesterday, and he's in my spare room sleeping off his jet lag. So, yeah, it's a bunch of people who all work with Iggy in different shape or form. We play the Lust for Life album. We did it last year. It was very successful, and we're doing it again now. And then I'm playing with my band. I'm opening up pretty big venues for Stiff Little Fingers over here with my lineup. And then as soon as I finish that, I'll get on the plane to come to Australia. So I'm a busy boy, and I've just got back from California and all. I was playing over there with Clam. We did a bunch of shows in California with Gilby Clarke, who's playing guitar for me from Guns N' Roses. So it's non-stop rock action.
It's going to be difficult over the next 20 minutes to sort of interweave over your career. You mentioned Iggy Pop. Let's get to the Soldier album. You wrote Ambition on that record, and you also co-wrote a chunk of that album, didn't you?
Yeah, there's about 3 other songs on it. I can't remember. I Need More, Take Care of Me. I think that's good. I think my favourite song on the album, which I didn't write, is Loco Mosquito. The lyrics on that are fantastic, you know. Even Take Care of Me, though, is good as well. You know, I need somebody to pull me out. I'm sinking like crazy in my sauerkraut. And if you knew the backstory on that, it makes total sense. You know? but I'm not going
to maybe we should not hear that. Play It Safe was a song off that album, co-written by Iggy and Bowie. Now, were you in the studio with Iggy and Bowie? And I believe Simple Minds might have even been involved in.
Yeah, we were recorded in a studio in Wales called Rockfield, which has got a lot of history. And there was 2 studios there, and Simple Minds were in the smaller studio. And when it comes to doing backing vocals, they wrote them in. You know, when you're in a studio in the middle of nowhere, everybody sort of intermingles and has a laugh and stuff. And Bowie turned up. I'd met a few times through Iggy, got on with him. I never really worked with him. I would like to have done more with him, but he did get up. When we was rehearsing for the tour I was doing with Iggy, he got up and sang with us in the rehearsal room. That was kind of cool. And then he turned up to gigs after that. But on Loco Mosquito, he's not credited, but he actually mixed it in New York. And there's a bit in the middle where I do a bass run, and Bowie pushed it right up in the mix. So that'll do.
Here's a chicken or the egg question. Who came first, Blondie or the Sex Pistols?
Oh, the Sex Pistols, I think. Well, maybe. I don't know.
Can I correct you on that?
Right, go on then.
Okay, Blondie, Ex-Offender was released on the 17th of June 1976, and Anarchy in the UK, the first Sex Pistols single, 26th of November 1976. So they beat you by about 4 months.
Yeah, but A, it's not a competition, but B, there's also the fact who was doing what before you made a record and gigging around and stuff. So, you know, but what was going on back then? There was stuff going on in New York, there was stuff going on in London, which we were hip to, and they might have heard about a little bit. And they got some kind of similarity, and I think they got a similarity because people were getting fed up with the influences that had come before, and they went their own thing. But because nobody had actually made any records, nobody really heard what the other band sounded like. Yeah. Just saw a few pictures and got their vibe. You know, when the Ramones came over to England and the Pistols, we went to see them, we were quite taken aback how much on the same kind of page they were as us somehow, you know. So
yeah, of course, we put everything into the perspective of now, but you know, then there was no network radio, there was no internet. People couldn't just log on or download or stream.
No, but there were fanzines and there was word of mouth, which is very important. And I suppose word of mouth now spreads through the internet. But then it was proper word of mouth, you know, the Bush Telegraph.
Yeah, exactly. You've been doing well. You will be doing the Blondie shows when you get to Australia. I'd love to see one of your solo shows. You seem to have the entire career of Glen Matlock put across one set list.
Yeah, that's kind of the potted Glen Matlock kind of history. I suppose you've seen a set list somewhere. There's a little bit of talk. I might do a couple of solo shows at the end in Australia while I'm all the way there. But we're working on that, so we'll see what happens. But because I'm going for Blondie, the Blondie stuff comes first, and then we'll see what happens. You know,
there was that late '90s Sex Pistols tour of Australia.
Yeah, we did that, and then we went to New Zealand, and then we had to fly to Japan straight away afterwards. You know, so
yeah,
it's kind of cool. But I got some good. In fact, it's funny when I went to Auckland for the first time. I know. Talking about Australia, but I went to Auckland. I walked into quite a swanky hotel, got in the room, the phone rang, and the woman there, she said, "Glenn?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Who's that?" I can't remember her name now. But she said, "Do you remember me? I saw you checking in." And I said, "Who are you?" And she told me. And she used to be the barmaid in my local pub in London when all the Aussies and Kiwis used to come over and kind of get a job over, you know, doing Europe kind of thing. And now she was the general manager of that big swanky hotel. So I got, you know, the tentacles spread a little bit.
The most recent album, Consequences Coming, which makes up a chunk of your solo set list at the moment. Is there more new music to come as well?
There will be. I think I've got loads of half ideas that I've had, you know, over and above what ended up in Consequences Coming, not because they weren't good, but just because they didn't quite fit. But since then, I've been really busy with Blondie, doing loads of other stuff. And when you go around the world and travel, you get ideas. Now, you don't necessarily work them at the time, but they kind of seep in you're like a sponge. And when you do sit down and write, you can think, oh, yeah, that happened. That might make a good middle eight for that kind of thing. So it's songwriting by osmosis.
Rich Kids was a one album only, but you know what a mark. It seemed to fall through the cracks. Midge Ure on vocals on that one. It was an incredible album, wasn't it? When we think about, you know, that was an album, and you look at the people who played on it, Mick Ronson, Ian McLagan, that really is something people should go back and listen to. And you have been playing a few of those tracks.
Yeah, I'm proud of those songs. There's some good stuff on there. I think we're a little bit ahead of our time, to be honest. I think we should have waited a bit longer. I think we came through not being an out-and-out punk band on the back of the punk thing. But I'd already done that with the Pistols. You know, I wanted to kind of move on a little bit somehow. And people who used to come and see us that went on to form bands, you know, in Birmingham, in England, it would be the Duran guys. In fact, they tried to steal Steve New as a guitarist. And in London, the Spandau Ballet people used to come and check us out, you know, and I think we influence them. To me, music's like a baton race. You kind of take the baton from the people who influence you, you do your thing, and then there's people come afterwards that you pass the baton on to, which is kind of the way it goes, really. But probably that's true in lots of things in life.
Danny Boyle's Pistol, I believe you weren't a fan?
No, I was disappointed. So I was disappointed, and I felt kind of not listened to. So there you go. But it's been and gone now, so I'm not really fussed about that.
Yeah, I mean, it sits up there for all to see, still on streaming services.
Yeah, but it's not being pushed over here like what it was. So there you go.
What about the role of Christopher Lee's? Did he make a good Glen Matlock?
I thought he was good as an actor, but I think the script let him down. I met up with him. I'm still mates with him. I even met his mum and dad, actually, who were entertainers on the QE2, and he was brought up on the QE2, going backwards and forwards while they were doing their cabaret acts. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing I think your criticism was that they got your departure of the band wrong, the firing of the band. It's
just bullshit, you know. Yeah, it's total bullshit. There you go. I'm not going to go into it too much because, hey, it's early in the morning over here. I've written about it extensively. I've got a book out called I Was a Teenage Sex Pistol and another one called Triggers, which is available everywhere if you put a mind to shooting a documentary based on I Was a Teenage Sex Pistol now. So you will finally get Matlock's side of events. But, yeah. Anyway, Steve Jones said to me, what do you think about the TV show? And I had breakfast with Steve a couple of weeks ago in Los Angeles. We get on fine. And I said, Steve, mate, you got a shocking fucking memory. And he could not but disagree. You know, he could not but agree. So there you go.
It must have been marvellous for you being part of history, writing or being part of the writing of Anarchy in the UK, of God Save the Queen, of Pretty Vacant. You know, what was your part in that song? Because it's credited to the four of you.
Well, it was decided that all the songs went four ways. I'm not sure if I totally agreed with that, but, you know, this stuff, as far as I'm concerned, Pretty Vacant is my song, but well kind of interpreted and played by Steve and Paul and delivered by John. But, you know, there's other stuff I get credit for, like No Feelings. That was mainly Steve's idea, you know, I'm a Lazy Sod. What I am pleased about is the first three singles had a hell of a lot to do with me. Even so, you know, I like to live in the present, look to the future, and just doff my cap to the past a little bit, you know, which is kind of great while I'm doing the Blondie gig, because it's really not a lot to do with the Pistols at all. And it's more maybe to do with my musicianship and getting alongness with other like-minded musicians.
Clem was the one who contacted you about this, wasn't
he? Yeah, and you know what? I nearly didn't answer the phone call because I was making a risotto. And you know when it's just kind of ready and you don't want it to be too soft and you don't want it to be too al dente and you want it to be just right. I was doing it and the phone went and it was Clem. And I was with a friend of mine and they went, who is it? And I said, it's Clem. And I went, answer it. And I said, I'll stir it, you know. And I said to Clem, get on with it and make it. But anyway, he asked me to do the thing. I thought about it overnight. I thought he was going to be 2 months down the line. And he said, well, no, it's next week, actually. It was like, whoa. But say yes. You know, I find that within reason, sitting at home, waiting for the phone to ring for the right thing, begets sitting at home, waiting for the phone to ring. Whereas if you say yes to things, yeah. And if you say yes to things, people ask you to do other things, you know, so it's got an ongoing thing within reason, you know.
When you join a band like Blondie and, you know, like everybody knows every song, do you have to learn those songs to play?
Yeah. And then you've got to remember them for the next time you do a tour as well, you know, and you've got to do some homework, you've got some notes and stuff. It all sinks in, really. But the thing is, I mean, all of us, Clem and the other people in the band, when you're touring with Blondie, you're not doing it 24 hours a day, 24/7. People are doing other things, so then you have to learn that, and then you got to really remember that, and you know, there's homework you got to do. But you know, it's not. it's not such a hard task, but you do it.
Well, Pandemonium coming up in Australia is going to be a magnificent thing to hang out backstage, I would imagine. Alice Cooper, Deep Purple, Psychedelic Furs, Placebo, Australia's Wolfmother on the bill. Of course, you with Blondie. It's just a dream lineup for anybody who grew up listening to you in the 70s and all those bands in the 70s.
Well, it sounds it and all, but what I found in life with music and bands that you go and see and people you expect or hope that you like what you're doing, most things come under a header. They're pretty good if you like that kind of thing. But it seems like you like that kind of thing, and there's a good few of those bands on there that I like. You know, Wolfmother I've seen when they were making their first forays over here. I thought they were kind of good. Alice Cooper. In fact, I've been asked to actually open up for Alice Cooper at Wembley in the autumn. So, you know, that kind of could be good. So anyway.
Well, you and I are the same age, so I do like those kind of things. Looking forward to seeing you in Australia.
All right, fella. So come and say hi if you get the chance, yeah?
We'll see you when you're down here. Thanks,
All right, mate. See ya. Bye.